Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to another discussion thread. And recently we went over this thread right here, the rebellions thread, right over here. It's gonna be kind of like a part two, but I don't really like to call it a part two. Pretty much more information. We're gonna go from like page 2 to page 4 or 5, depending on how long the video is. I want to kind of keep it in the 20-minute mark, or a little bit less. So that's what we're gonna do. We have more dev replies. We're gonna see what they're talking about. I'm gonna give my opinion of it, like always, and we're gonna go from there. And like always, it's gonna be linked down below for all of you guys to check out. And let's get right into it. So in the first one, just a quick recap. They were just explaining what rebellions were, kind of how to counter it, the fact that a low loyalty and obviously a lot of militia can cause a rebellion. A couple ways to obviously make sure it doesn't happen, and also what the rebel clan can and can't do. All right. So we got a player making a statement and a response from the developer. So player, looks like rebels need different names assigned in the scripts, or are we going to have a redundancy? Okay, and then dev responds, currently the rebels are currently, wait, I'm sorry, I can't read. Currently, the rebels are not correctly removed when they're taken as prisoners and thus can stay in the encyclopedia and diplomacy screens. It is planned to be fixed in a hotfix. Okay, so there was a problem. Well, there currently is a problem where they will stay in the encyclopedia even when they're destroyed or taken as prisoners, but that should be fixed soon. So whenever they are actually destroyed and no longer a clan anymore, they should not be in the encyclopedia. Okay. Next, we have another statement, another response. So the player, rebellion should provide a new option for kingdom creation. Now, just wait until a rebellion happens, take the fief, and you can start a kingdom. That would be kind of cool if you could kind of be the guy who starts the rebellion. That would actually be very cool, a very cool feature if you can kind of rile up the people and stuff like that. And let's say if you have, oh man, that could be such a good feature if you think about it. If you have very good reputation with all the nobles in the town, like it has to be all the nobles and the gang leader. Like you have to have good reputation with everybody in the town. And then if all that is set, you have the option to kind of propose it, and if the nobles agree, because the loyalty is down, you have to make sure the loyalty is down as well, it'll happen. That'd be very cool. Alrighty, so developer responds, in 1.5.6 we provide a base system implementation of the rebellions. It can be expanded or improved upon based on player feedback. Features such as kingdom creation are rather complex, true, both in terms of development and testing as it's coupled with more systems. And I believe trying to find the ultimate design can push deployment too far back. I'm in favor of more base systems that have core functionality deployed first and improved upon player feedback and further simulation data. Alrighty, so now what he means by this, for people who didn't understand and people who might take this out of context and be like, oh, so you're not trying to add anything complex, only basic stuff? No. What he's trying to say is, he thinks for the time being, it's more important to get a lot more of these features out, such as the base rebellion feature, which I think by itself is very good. Yes, it can be improved further, where the rebellion can start a whole new kingdom, and that I've talked about this. I would love if minor factions and minor clans can start their own kingdom, same way as a player can. I would love that feature, but I understand that's very far in the future if it's possible, and maybe a mod. I understand. What he's saying is, if they were to just go full on into that whole aspect of the whole kingdom creation that's based on rebellions, it would obviously be very complex, because there's a lot of systems involved, and you have to make sure every new feature in a way fits into that system, and everything needs to be kind of rearranged to make sure that new thing can actually have its place in this complex system, in this complex huge amount of code in this this world, right? But what he's saying is he wants more base systems like this, like the rebellion feature. He wants more features like this. Obviously, we're getting the feature where we can break people out of prison. Obviously, we're getting the feature of keep battles. More of these concepts and more of these base gameplay features. The more we add, the more it adds to the game, and the more possibilities it adds for further developments in the future. And I think this is the right way to look at it, in my opinion. A lot of people want more stuff. This is exactly what it's talking about. This is more stuff. instead of working for 2 3 more months to make sure this rebellion feature is fully fledged out. While some people might like that, those 2 3 months can be worked on 3 new base features, just like rebellions. So it's all a matter of opinion, but I think this is the right way to go about it. I think getting more of these base features in there, it gives people more things to do, more ways to look at the world, more things to contemplate in terms of like what they want to do. Do they want to do this, or do they want to do that? And I think it's very good for gameplay. And it just, later on, like I said, they can work on further developing these what do you call it? These features, such as rebellions, or even mod creators can build on it, and I think that is great. I think, as a sandbox, you want to give the player and also the modders, you want to give them these base features, and you want to give them a lot of base features that they can work off of, and obviously, or work off or play off of. So, I agree. All right. Let's go to the next page. All right, here we go. We have another player making pretty big statements, and then a response from the developers with a graph. Cool. Alrighty, so at the developer, this is the player talking, by the way. Do you want a few save games to examine the impact of rebellions? Right now, we can see exactly how many have happened and how many have succeeded by looking at the active wars of a faction, but I imagine that is going to be patched out soonish. These towns might have same culture governors thanks to inter-faction marriages. That's one thing I'm seeing in a current fresh playthrough. It implies that all factions to some extent, but the Britannians and Vlandians, are constantly at war with one another. So they don't have any marriages. The game checks to make sure there are no factions between wearing marriages. And Sargot's villages are really easy for the Britannians to raid, which is even a bigger malice than the wrong culture one. Okay, in my previous playthrough carried out over 1.5.5, the main thing driving rebellions was Kingdom carried over for 1.5.5. So he's on the current patch, but this is a previous save. The main thing driving rebellions was a kingdom with low influence among its clans, so fewer armies, raiding the larger or distracted opponents. These raided villages really hurt loyalty when there are 4 of them per town, so Britannia basically had all the rebellions at all times, even with fully upgraded loyalty improvements, same culture ownership, and governor. Okay, let's see how the dev responds to all of this, because there's a lot of different subjects here. Alrighty, so dev response. We tried to thoroughly test the impact and occurrences of rebellions. In our tests, it was more spread out than concentrated on certain towns. Below is an example of test results from early implementations of rebellions. Alright, let's check this out. Okay, what is this 100? These are all the towns. And what are these numbers right here? Let's see if he says it right here. We had tens of images after for tweaking the rebellions, and we worked hard so that some cities do not get rebellions over and over. However, a lot of these changed since then regarding to loyalty and security. Okay. I'm guessing these are days, in-game days. So these are the towns, and these are in-game days. So it looks like it is spread out, but at the same time, it does focus on different towns. Argoron has had plenty. Legetta has had plenty. Yeah, so it's not as spread out. It looks spread out, but it's not really spread out, if that kind of makes sense. And it looks like if a town has a rebellion, there's a big chance it's going to repeat. Yeah. Okay. So dev continues. Based on your feedback, Sargot seems to get a lot of attention in terms of rebellions, though hard to tell with the sample size of the community. We will look into it. Another issue pointed out here is that grazing rights and Kazay immunity to rebellions. Okay, this policy had no negative effects, as the community mentioned, so we fixed it, and it will be in the future patch. It is currently in 1.5.7. If you guys are aware of it, it got completely nerfed down to what it was. Next, I will look into why Britannian towns are more likely to rebel, and whether, if it is the case, and hopefully address some of the issues regarding these by logging which factions gets rebellion most. Previously, we logged the cities and tried to optimize it such it occurs in different cities. Okay, so they're going to try to optimize it some more and see if certain, if certain factions are getting it more than the other ones. Okay. Thank you for taking the time to analyze our features. It really helps to focus on parts where the problem is hard to detect in automated process or automated tests. And as always, thank you for your feedback. Okay. Cool. So obviously, it's a work in progress, but I think it's pretty good overall. Next page. Where are we at? Here we go. All right, we got another statement and another dev replies. So here's the player. Garrisons are always loyal to the settlement owner. The garrison is destroyed. Some of them end up in prisons and others are killed. And the player states that both of these statements, which were in the original statement, right over here. This is what happens when a rebellion happens. The effects are that the owner of the settlement loses all control of the settlement, and the garrison is destroyed, and some of them end up in prisons, and others are killed. Oh, sorry, I read the wrong one. Garrisons are always loyal to the settlement owner. Okay. Player continues. I just tried to, since I crashed, join a fight to recover a lost town. The garrison was fighting with militia, plus new NPCs against it. Rebellions is useless. Why did you do that when a lot of more useful features are missing and ruining the game? No dialogue option with anyone, for example. Alrighty, buddy. We got our first guy right here that likes to read one part but not the whole thing. Check this out. So he states, oh my god, I love this. I love it. So he says garrison are always loyal to settlement owner, right? And then he says the garrison is destroyed and some of them end up in prisons and others are killed. He says this is fake because when he tries to fight them again, the garrison doesn't fight with him, they fight with the militia. Now, are you ready for it? What's it called? Where is it? Where is it? I'm trying to find. Oh my god, it's literally right after. It's the sentence right after the sentence he said was fake. Read this. A portion of the Okay, so first, let's just read all the effects. So first, when a rebellion happens, the owner of the settlement loses all control of the settlement. That is true. The garrison is destroyed, some of them end up in prison, and others are killed. This is what he says is fake. The next sentence. A portion of the militia is lost in the uprising, and the rest is converted to the garrison. Boom, your question is answered. The reason the garrison is no longer, in favor of you is because they were previously the militia that was opposing you. Like, bro, it's the next sentence, bro. You can't be caught slipping like this. You can't be caught slipping like this, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? And here we go with the whole, why did you do this when a lot of useful features, like what? I am sick and tired of people talking about, oh, well, all these useful features that we need. Like what? Mention them. They never mention them. This reminds me of a party in U.S. I'm not going to get into it. You know, there's a party out there, political-wise, there's a party out there that always says they have millions of facts but never wants to show it. You know what it is. I'm not going to get too far into it, but we've never seen them. And another thing I've never seen is people talking about useful features. Where are they at? Where is your list? Where is your mention of even 1, 2, or 3? I never see them. I could list them off. You know what I mean? We could do feasts. We could do diplomacy. We could do alliances. I list them off. That's what we could have. I get it. But when you're making a statement like this, just add some flavor to it, man. This is a bland statement. Oh, gosh. And then just like, how do you read this but not read the next sentence over, bro? It's literally, this is what you quoted. This is the next sentence that tells you the reason why the garrison is no longer in your favor. Bro, come on, bro. Hoi, hoi, hoi. The devs shouldn't even respond to this, bro. Like, at this point, bro, if people can't read the next sentence over. And I understand some people might be a different language, but he understands English because he read these first two. You know what I mean? If he read these first two, then he can understand the third sentence as well. So I don't want to hear that excuse of, oh, maybe he didn't understand it. He understood this perfectly. So I don't want to hear it. All right. Dev responds, it seems like you attacked a settlement in which the rebellion already took place. In this case, the garrison will be loyal to the rebellion. The rebels would not leave men loyal to the original lord in the garrison, as stated in here. The ones that are loyal get imprisoned and killed, and then the militia that was against you gets converted to the garrison. What happens when a rebellion is successful is that your entire garrison is either killed or imprisoned in the rebellion. Also, some of the rebel militia is also killed. About half of the left militia then goes into the garrison. They become permanent troops instead of militia, and what you fought against was probably those militia-based garrisons. Of course, this is my hypothesis. There can be indeed a bug. Then we have to investigate it further. But as far as I know, I did not hear about such a bug report. Other than this one, as always, thank you for your feedback. Bro, stop answering these idiots. I'm going to keep it honest with you. Just stop answering them, bro. Like, it's just... I get when there's criticism. I get when you have valid criticism. And I've gone over plenty of times when there's valid criticism that I might not agree on, but I see their point and I acknowledge their point because they give some facts behind it. They make sure they actually read it correctly. But this just... Bro, oh God, man. Can't deal with this, man, because it's common sense, man. It's not like you have to have like this further huge understanding of the concept or this further huge, you know what I mean? There's no requirement for this. It's just basic. Like, if you could read this, then you can read that, you know what I mean? And just calling out like, oh, it's fake, and then all of a sudden back to the negative attitude. I've said this before in other videos. I'm gonna say it again. Stop being so negative. Not just in the game forums, just in life in general. It's very, I'll put it lightly, it's very unattractive. Super unattractive. You know what I mean? Like, not only is it unattractive, it's going to ruin your mental being. It is. You know, being very negative about everything just because it's the fad or it's what everyone else is doing is not the wave. It's not. It's much better to have peace of mind than to be stuck in this negative attitude and just finding things like... Because I know this type of person. This type of person has it always in the back of their head, and they always check every little post, every little thing, just to make sure, like, oh, look, I found something. I finally found some good food to feast on. You know what I mean? They found these two quotes, and they were like, ha ha ha, I finally got them. Checkmate. It's fake. You lied. Look at all these useful features you could have put in, but you didn't. And it's like, dog. It's not a good look. Do better. I'm not just talking about him. You know what I mean? Not just him in general. I'm talking about a lot of other people on this forum as well, bro. Do better. Please. You know what I mean? Be more happy. It's a lot better for you. You know what I mean? And if you do have actual valid criticism, you know how you should word it. You know what I mean? You know how it should, how valid criticism should be done. If you want a professional response, if you want to be taken as a professional, show up as a professional. You know what I mean? But all right, boys, that's gonna end it there. I'm gonna go make some tea. Drink some tea as well. You know what I mean? It's good for you. I'm gonna go make some tea with honey, no sugar. But I'm gonna go do that. I'm going to go continue this probably in like another video. A couple more pages. We'll do it in another video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Ask me any questions, any concerns. And like always, stay safe.